Hello, my friends, and you are my friends. Do not adjust your sets. I'm in the host chair again. I am joined by, look at them lovely curtains, Colin, in the background.
Hey, how are you, mate?
I'm tired. I would say I'm happy. We're going to get into, obviously, the game last night, what went down. Loads to chat with. We've got no live link tonight. Martin's unable to attend, so I've stepped in at the last minute, and I was rushing around trying to find someone. So thanks for coming in, Colin, because otherwise there wouldn't have been a show, mate, if you hadn't turned up.
No problem, my friend. No problem at all.
If anyone is watching in the chat, please hit the like button. Anybody who hasn't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. You can join, be a kofi member. You can be a YouTube member. There's a link on YouTube. Get involved. Anyone wants to do any live, what do they call them? When they donate them money. I can't even remember what they're called. Super stickers and all that, Colin. See, I'm not even prepared. I'll put a few things together. I think we'll start. Obviously, the main talking point from last night was at the end of the game when Sam Morsy, let's say, an altercation, Colin, with some fans. I'll just read his statement before we get in. So, to the Blue Army, I'd like to apologise for my actions after yesterday's match. I was emotional and I completely understand the fans' frustrations. We will give all we have to turn it around. I can't explain how proud I am to lead this iconic football club. Every single week you turn up in your numbers, pay your hard-earned cash to follow us home and away, and there's not a second that goes by that I don't appreciate that. See you on Saturday. Right, so before we come to the statement, Colin, we've chatted about it. What's your take on what happened at the end of the game?
Well, like we said, Rich, we all know, and I'm included in this, and so are you, Rich, and so are a hell of a lot of other people. We get caught up in emotion. Human beings get caught up in emotion. We were chatting about this earlier, weren't we, mate? And we've all been there, and the players are not exempt from that. They finish a game. That's like when they're in. It's like when players or especially managers get mics put under their nose, straight after a game. And sometimes, we remember Chambo at Cheltenham. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he said, "The F-bomb."
Yeah.
Things happen. Chambers probably didn't want to do that, but it's all connected, like we said earlier, Rich, with the emotions of the moment.
Then there's people in the chat. You've got Mike saying Matt Holland wouldn't do it, Mick Mills wouldn't do it. Yeah, look, we take on board. I remember, I think it was Norwich, Colin, when we played at home the season we got promoted. I think it was in March. We lost 2-0, and everyone was really disappointed that day because hopes of the top two were fading. I remember Matt Holland coming to the North Stand getting dogs abuse.
Yeah.
Did he react? No, he didn't. He applauded like he always did, and he walked off the field. And really last night, look, we can't put ourselves in Sam Morsy's shoes, right? No one can.
No.
And he came over, full credit to him. He was applauding the travelling fans, which, again, brilliant, Yeah. And look, no, I was quite close to it. I don't know what was said. If anything racial said, I understand that. I don't think it was. Let's not go there because I don't think it was. I just think it was people's frustrations, not from just last night, from the last few games. Jeremy, there's no link tonight. I've just said, mate, you'll have to just get in the chat. It's linked to not just last night. It's from since October when we've won, 4 games in 15, Colin. And probably on looking back on it, hindsight, best pundit in football. He probably wishes that he didn't react that way, but he is human. And I know people will say, why doesn't he show his passion on the pitch? Which, he didn't have the greatest game. He wasn't the only one. I know he's the captain. But as far as I'm concerned, Morsy's come out. People will say he's been made to say that, put that out by the club. I don't believe he has. I've spoke to Sam loads of times. He got involved with my ticket thing, Colin. He's given season tickets to some refugees. He's a good man, So,
and do you know what, Rich? Can I just come in there?
I've heard people saying, hang on, I've heard people saying, Colin, he should lose the captaincy. Nonsense. I don't agree with that at all.
No.
This needs to be put to bed. Hopefully it's put to bed and we move on, because at the end of the day, I know at the minute, and I know everyone in the chat and everyone who's probably going to watch this back, everyone's massively disappointed what's happening at the football club. You know, we don't want to be tumbling down from first to second to third. Now we're fourth. Teams got games in hand, but we need to be pulling together, Colin, in these last 15 games. It's no point if it's all fractured, you know, because Mark Ashton said this before. When everyone's pulling in the same direction, it's what we all want. And we all want the team to do well, and we're not doing well at the minute. And I get that, and I get everyone's frustrations, but Morsy's said his piece. He's apologised. I think we should just put it to bed now, and we just move on, and we move on to the next game.
I totally agree with everything you said there, but going back to what Mike had said, and I totally agree with the bloke. Don't get me wrong. Millsy, I said to you, didn't I? I named Millsy, Terry Butcher, who else did I make? Jason DeVos, Matt Holland, obviously. Look, we're all in agreement, Mike. Not because we like you, but because we agree with you. None of those guys would have done that. We all appreciate that. But like you quite rightly say, Rich, he's done the right thing. He's come out and I agree with you, Rich. I don't think that's been written for him. I can hear him saying that. I've spoken to him once or twice, in the fan zone, at the end of the season and blah 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 when he's been about. And I spoke to him, and I think he's a good guy. We all make mistakes, Rich. Yeah. We're all human. I think you said exactly the right thing just a moment ago. Let's put it to bed. Let's be as one, like Mark Ashton quite rightly says. Be as one. Let's get over there on Saturday and really be as one, and use it to your advantage on Saturday.
They've got to use, for me now, I think you've got to close ranks a little bit, and you've got to use that siege mentality, Colin.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think I text Mel today, and I tried to put myself in the position of Mel and David last night, and I left them on their answering machine, and I said I really felt sorry for you last night. So I put myself in their shoes. Their son's a professional footballer. He absolutely, like Sam and like everybody else. And I more or less said in the message, if Wes wants to bring Sam along to the book launch, brilliant. Bring him along, and we will, as fans, will give him a little hug. I will give him a little hug. Pass that message on, Wes.
Look, we are allowed to criticise. I see a lot of people on Twitter. Look, football's all about opinions. This is why we do this show, Colin, because it's great. It's great that everyone has an opinion, and not everyone will be in agreement. Some people will say Morsy, he's been poor, he shouldn't be in the team. A lot of others will say he's been one of our best players, and he's going through a dip in form. And there's a can't remember in the chat there a minute ago saying he's probably frustrated with his own performance as well, because he 100%. Hasn't reached the levels that he should have done, But he isn't the only one. I know he's the captain, and that's where he sets that example. But let's start last night with my name here on the chat. Look, McKenna's bingo balls. Once again, it's rotation, and I know they'll say, "Look, we had a game on Saturday, we got another game on Tuesday, the travelling and all that." Look, let's not beat around the bush. These players, Colin, are given everything that they want. They fly to games, They go in luxury. They're not staying in a bloody crappy little Premier Inn or something. Good hotels they're staying in. Everything that they want, they're getting.
Rich,
so I can't have the look like you're tired. He needs a rest. This is part of the problem where we are at the minute. Is we're in February. We're on February the 15th as we sit here tonight, and still Kieran McKenna, Colin, does not know his best starting 11.
100%. 100% couldn't agree more. And that is really quite worrying for me.
Very.
You know, absolutely so worrying because, you know, you said to me a week or two ago, you said to me about, you know, like the defensive parents, you know, if, you know, I'm not going to get on Kieran's back because I think Kieran will turn out, as long as he's given that time, I think he'll turn out to be a great manager for our club. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but is you know, has he got things to learn? Yes, he's young. He'd be the first person. I'd love him to come to the book launch and let's have a real relaxed conversation with the bloke. You know, you're here, you're the same age as Bobby was born when he came. You know, there's a lot of mirror image there, and I'd love to say.
We're getting a little bit carried away. Let's go away from that chat about mirror image.
No, Rich. I'm just Rich. Please.
I remember you saying it before. He reminds you.
No, Rich. Please. I don't want to get on that horse with you tonight. All I'm doing, Rich, my dear friend, is comparing his age. That is all, right? And what I was going to say from there, Rich, he's got a lot to learn because of his age. Dear old Bobby had loads to learn. He nearly got a sack in 1970, 71.
Let's keep on track. Let's keep on track with 2023. Let's not keep going back to great days because it's like chalk and cheese, Colin. We can't.
Yeah, I'll tell you. But Rich, you know I agree with you.
Yeah.
I've got to agree with you. Absolutely, 100%.
Carl Brooks says here in the chat, I think it's a number of things. Hang on, where are we? I'll have to scroll up as we go. I think it's a number of things. He tries to be too cute with team selections and he tries to keep everyone happy. Name your best team and only change it if players are injured and suspended. And look at Sheffield Wednesday last night. I think they made one change. But the majority of them players, like your Windasses, your Smiths, your Aidan Flints at the back, Barry Bannon, you know, that spine of that team, Colin, doesn't change. As changes nearly every single game. 4 last night. And you'd probably, if you're a betting man, you'd probably look at that and think there'll probably be at least 4 changes again on Saturday against Forest Green. That cannot be right for me. Like, when you have Connor Chaplin, who's 15 goals he scored this season, what other team in this league are benching their top scorer? Freddie Ladapo, another one, 13 goals. He started last night, but he was sub on Saturday. What other teams will be doing this?
Well, we said, didn't we, to each other last night, we were over a nice glass of cider. We had a little chat.
Future Inn. Shout out the Future Inn in Bristol. It's good, wasn't it, there?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, fantastic.
Good breakfast, Colin. Good breakfast.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I'll give it a good 9. Well, no, I think I'll give it 10 out of 10. Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. But like I say, we was talking over a nice glass last night, and you know, we've got to start picking our best side. I've been saying it for ages. Great managers pick their best side if available. And we've got to look. We've got 15 games to go, Rich. For the 15 games, 10 plus 5 for 15 games, we've got to be obviously barring
everyone in the chat. Right, Colin's saying pick your best team. Everyone in the chat, pick your best 11, and I think a lot of people will probably be very similar. So everyone in the chat, pick your best 11, and then we'll read them out. But it's like Nathan Broadhead. Kieran was talking in his pre-match interview about he's got a bit of cramp, and I'm thinking he won't play. But he's one that he's come, Colin, with a little bit of an injury cloud, a little bit when he was at Sunderland. These players have been signed. It's interesting when you look last night, all the new signings. We'll get onto Luongo because he wasn't involved again. All the signings, none of them were starting. Now you've signed these players to give you that little bit extra to get us where we want to go. And then you go away to Bristol Rovers and you're not starting anywhere. I'm baffled, mate. I'm absolutely baffled.
Well, when you look at Kamara, and obviously Don Ball was unlucky. And there you got, Sonny obviously had that injury early towards that. I mean, but the signings that we've made and the injuries they've got, I mean, you've got to, however much I don't like doing it at all about my club.
Oh, right. Just hang on.
You got to start.
I just want to pull Mike D on his team. He's gone the majority that I agree with, but he's gone Kyle Edwards over Connor Chaplin, Mike. Very interesting. He wouldn't. Edwards for me, he's another sub. We'll get onto him in a minute. But we've got a lot of them. Look, you've got Walton, you've got Clark. Right, let's go through a few of them. Let me scroll down. Walton, Clark, Wolfie, Edmondson, Burns, Morsy, and then you've got whoever's fit. Davis, Chaplin, Ladapo, Broadhead, Carl Brooks. I'd say that's near enough full strength. Josh Davis, Walton, Clark, Wolfridge, Burns, Morsy, Humphreys, Davis, Chaplin, Ladapo, Broadhead. I think I agree with that. Harry Clark, right? He's a young lad, Colin. He's just come in. And then he's on the bench last night. I do not understand that. And then he brings him on at left back.
What I can't understand, Rich, I totally agree with that. But what I can't understand about that situation or that scenario is that you paid over £1 million for the lad as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. Wait a minute, Rich. You paid over 1.5 for Broadhead. You know what I mean? Those two players would cost best part of $2.5 million. And they're both sitting on the bench last night against Bristol Rovers. Wait a minute, Rich. Which goes back to our point about picking your best side. A game like Bristol Rovers, with all due respect to them, right, where they are, what their record had been over the last 4 or 5 games, my opinion about that is put your best side out, get the game won, then bring the subs on.
Yeah, I listened to Joey Barton's interview, and he was quite honest with what he said. It was like they just needed, as he said, Colin, to stop the bleeding. I think 5 games since they've last won, and he admitted that they weren't going to try and match us to play football, because I think if he did,
fair play.
He knows, but surely Town know that, but we never find that way to combat it. It's to me, it's like Kieran will just say, right, go out and play your football, and that'll get the job done. But
it won't in this league, Rich.
No, it won't, because it's not done it since October, when you get 4 wins in 15. We've taken, Colin, 8 points since the turn of the year.
That's absolutely that's unbelievable with that size of that squad, and also the cost of that squad. That is unbelievable.
I think it was Mike told me. I'm not sure who it was. The last 15 games, Paul Lambert had taken about the same number of points, and so had Paul Cook. And look what happened to them that was in their last 15 games. Look what happened to them. Yeah. I'm not saying that Kieran McKenna should be replaced. I know a few people will, and you hear a few more noises after last night, Colin, as regards to McKenna. But yeah, rotation, I just think, is it a case of he's got too many players and he's trying to keep everyone happy?
Well, I've got to admit, once or twice over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've actually said that, has he got too many players? And because of that fact, and only because of that fact, is he trying to keep them happy? It seems that way. But I don't want to. I seriously, Rich, I do not want. I know you don't. I seriously don't want to get on this, Kieran bandwagon, because I don't agree with it. So I think he's good for our club.
The time for that, Colin's in the summer when the season's finished, and we'll finish wherever we are if we go up in the playoffs, whatever. That'll be the time for me when questions about the manager can be asked then. I agree with people now. You can question him. You can question the manager because from the last 15 games, 4 wins is nowhere near good enough. 8 points since the turn of the year, nowhere near good enough. You know, we are allowed to question the manager. It doesn't mean you want to get rid of him.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, the honeymoon period, Rich.
That's over.
That was over a long time ago, not just a few weeks. That was over a long time.
Dino says in the chat there, Colin, American owners must be shaking their heads at the moment and a penny for their thoughts.
Good God, yeah. Yeah, but they are. We are where we are, Rich. And
but look, Matt Wingard says we need 12 points from the next 4 games. But, Matt, we keep saying that every sort of 4 or 5 games. You look at the fixtures, Colin, and you think, yeah, we need to win. It never, ever pans out like that. We've drawn, actually, Emerson says there, 9 draws in the last 15, which is killing us. We've only lost 4 games all season, but we've drawn 12 games. 12
I know.
That's ridiculous. For me, I said to you the other week, and I said on this show, it reminds me of Sunderland under Jack Ross when they didn't go up. They drew loads of games that season. I'll have to look back at the table to see how many games that they did actually draw. But draws kill you in this division, especially when you're up the top and Sheffield Wednesday. And people keep saying, "Oh, Plymouth are going to fall away." Well, they're not. Are they? They won again last night, 3-1 at Oxford. Wednesday won 3-0. Bolton, Colin, have scored 10 goals in the last 2 games. You know.
I'll tell you what, Rich. I thought you was going to bring us up, but I about the draw scenario. I'm harping back again, but I made the point to Andrew this afternoon about how draws really kill you. In the 74-75 season, you know, when Ipswich finished 3rd, Liverpool was 2nd, and Derby were 1st. If it had been 3 points, because Ipswich actually won more games that season than Derby, who won the league, right? And it's a fact because of how it is now with the goal difference. If that season had been 3 points for a win, Ipswich would actually won the league. So that just goes to show you, with the 3 points for a win, why it's imperative that you go for the throat and go for the win. I say now, Rich, I said it to a gentleman like yesterday at half time. I wonder, you know, and I had it through at me. I said, Colin, come over here. Do you honestly think, I had it through at me at half time, do you think we're scared of losing now? And I think that's a good point, Rich.
We only lost 4.
Exactly. Do you think this person said, Colin, we're scared of losing?
You got to release them shackles, though. It's like John B says in the chat. Every team in the top 6 has gained 8 to 14 points on us in the last 8 games, Colin. 8 to 14 points. And the way we're going at the minute, if you look at the table, if Wickham in 7th win that game in hand, there'd be 4 behind us. And the way we're going that way. We're going that way. And we have to arrest the slide very quickly. Look, Forest Green Saturday at home. I know I could have egg on my face, but it has to be a town win, surely, Colin. They've not won since the 10th of December.
I'll be very, very, very surprised if we don't put 3 past them at least. We should do, Rich. If we're picking
we can chat like that. I don't think we can chat like we should do this, we should do that, because we never ever do it.
Well, we said before the Bristol Rovers game last night, we were all saying it. The next 5, including last night, have all got to be wins. That's another one with a cross beside it.
Yeah.
Now we're saying about winning the next 4 games.
Right.
It's absolutely right. Absolutely right, Rich. But we have got to win 12 points. A dozen points is the bare minimum from the next 4 games from Saturday.
Right. Give me one, everyone in the chat and Colin, give me one positive.
What, from last night?
One positive. I'll start.
What?
I will start.
Right.
I was on an open terrace.
Right.
And it didn't rain.
Yeah, well, I've stood on that open terrace and got pissed on.
Yeah, so that's my positive. That is my positive.
I'll tell you the positive for me. The positive for me was that, I know we always go on about it, but I mean, I suppose we're going back to the Sam thing, really. But the positive for me is that the fans, and I love the fans, don't be wrong, each and every one of them, the fans, they're doing their job, and they are coming. And let's face it, when they bought these tickets for Bristol Rovers, things weren't going brilliant then, Rich, and we still sold out on a Tuesday night. My positive.
Right, let's have a little look through the chat.
So, and Rich, answer me a question. And it ain't just down the road, is it, mate?
No, it wasn't a bad journey down the M4.
That's all right.
I didn't leave. But let's just the elephant in the room. Colin left at 5:30 yesterday morning. Everyone, so leaving at 5:30, Colin. You know you're going to hit the M25. Surely you should have been leaving a little bit later.
Yeah, my schoolboy error. But it was Andy's birthday, Rich.
Right, Phil Blundell, clean sheet away. Matt Stannard, we didn't concede. James Warren Elmer, the fans. Emerson, clean sheet. Simon Harris, clean sheet. Paul Brooks, one positive. I didn't part with the money you did to get there. I spent it on another tin of paint. It's painted, it's moved. Dave UK, clean sheet. Chris Boyd, Morsy didn't get a card. Jeffrey Cooper, final whistle. Blimey, we're a positive bunch, aren't we? Crikey. Right. We'll get back to the game in a minute. Give your book a plug, Colin. I've ordered one. I've got to order one today for Mark Dowling because he's in Ireland. I don't know why. He can't order on Amazon, UK only. So what I'm doing is I'm ordering the book for him and then I'll get it posted over to him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give a plug. Yeah, well, things are going well. First and foremost, things seem to be, going very well as regards the book. People seem to be buying it, and which is fantastic for the charities, obviously. My school, the school I work for, Colford School, there. Once another day, which hopefully should be tomorrow or at worst Friday. Because Matt's talking to the person tomorrow, I believe, after he's spoken to me. So hopefully, Rich, by the weekend we'll know a date for the launch in the Bobby Robson Suite, which we're more than pleased to have for the event, and we've got some decent players coming. Terry Butcher, John Walk, Russell Osborne. Hopefully, I haven't spoken to Terry since Saturday, but he said he was going to have a word with Russell and Wes Burns, bless him, and hopefully Mr. Morsy. Hopefully Mr. Morsy might come along. But yeah, we've got an evening over there. Probably be a Wednesday that's right, Wednesday or Thursday even. But as soon as we know the date, obviously Rich and Martin and Matt will put that over the Taunton Town, and also that'll probably go over Radio Suffolk as well, because Mark has told me to do that. When I know the date, ring him and or email him and tell him the date. But yeah, I'm really pleased because when I go to games, I had like last night. Well, even when I was down the harbour yesterday with Andy having a few beers with Ferret, from Elmsall, and a few other people, a lad from Plymouth. There's people come along and said, "Well, bought me book," and I'll tell you what, it really something really lovely to me heart, because people are doing it, and like I said at the start, if I help one person, brilliant. If I help 10 people, fantastic. But it seems to be going well, Rich, and with your great help, I must admit, and Martin and Matt and everybody else, you've helped me no end, and you know how much I appreciate that. But
Amazon, search Diary of an Obsession on Amazon, and there it is. I think there's I've put a review on. I think Lewis has put a review on. Then there's another. I think a lady called Catherine. I think she's put a review. 5-star reviews. If you buy the book, get on Amazon. Give the book a 5-star review because it's deserved a 5-star review. I'm off work tomorrow, Colin. I'm actually getting. I've read 6 chapters. I'm going to smash it tomorrow. £15, 50% to the British Art Foundation, 50% to Cancer Research UK. So all going to a great charity. If you're in the chat and you haven't bought the book, get on it tonight. Go onto Amazon, and it'll probably be next day or a couple of days to deliver. If you're watching, also at the minute we've got 143 watching, 46 likes. Come on, hit the like button. You know it makes sense. Right, let's get back to the game. Let's do a few player ratings, Colin.
Yeah, well, come on then, mate.
It would be pretty similar, I would have thought.
I would have thought so. Right, so obviously we're starting with Walton.
Oh, hang on. Matt Stannard says, for those with Kindles, you can also get Colin's book on the Kindle. So there you go.
Lovely.
Right.
Rich, hold on, Rich. I've got to make an apology. We did not mention Matt Stannard. Matt Stannard has been the biggest rock ever. He has helped me, not that Rich has, and not as other people haven't, but Matt has been, as Rich knows, Matt has been brilliant as regards this book, and he deserves a round of applause. Thank you very much, Matt. I'll have to hit that.
Jeremy, the book is called Diary of an Obsession. If you, I'll send you the link, Jeremy, after the show. I'll get on your messenger and I'll send it to you. Right, Christian Walton, Colin.
Oh, there was 1 or 2 dodgy moments. We know what they were. Well, he didn't let a goal in. God knows how. That second half.
Well, he made a bit of a mess, didn't he? He made a bit of a mess of it, didn't he? Spilled that one from the corner. Hit the post, come out. He does do a great save, to be. He don't know a lot about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he actually kept the thing out in the end, I'm going to give him a 6, but no more.
I'll give him a 5. No,
that's fair.
No higher for me. And I think if you look across the back, JD, Wolf, Burgess, Davis, they're probably all. We kept a clean sheet. Probably all what, 5s and 6s.
Yeah. You can't give him any more than that, Rich. I thought JD was okay. I thought Wolfie had shaky moments. Burgess got
so slow on the floor. If you get anybody running at him who twists and turns, I think he struggles in the air. Look, it's
Rich. You know what I think the Burgess do think the Burgess. But Andy was right last night. He got caught on the wrong side so many times last night.
Yeah. He's not got the pace, Colin, to get him out of that as well, has he? If he gets caught wrong side.
I probably might have given him a 5 last night, Rich. I'm sorry. I don't like doing that to Burge, but probably give him a 5 last night.
Carl Brooks says Burgess runs like he's got a piano strapped to his back.
Yeah, he did last night.
What are the pianos? Did you see that piano in the hotel?
Yeah. I think that was.
You're going to tickle the ivories.
I think that was to serenade the Valentinos last night. I'll tell you what I did notice. Pre you coming down, there were some very young couples staying there last night. Wow. Very young couples.
There you go. Mike the Fisherman, don't be silly. Morsy does not get a 1. Come on, Mike. He doesn't get a 1. He doesn't get a 1.
Oh, my God.
We'll go on to Morsy. We'll go on to Sam Morsy. Go on then, Colin. Give me your thoughts on Morsy.
Look, I didn't think it was overly bad during the game, if I'm honest. Do I add in to what happened as regards his mark? I'll probably have to, really, if I'm honest. I'd give him a 6 because of what happened. But
he doesn't get above a 5 for me. If he gets a 6, he loses point for what he did do at the end of the game there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'll give you that. That. They're all 5s or 6s last night, Rich.
Cam Humphreys, I thought he struggled.
Oh, struggled last night. Probably the worst game I've seen him have. Be a 5 for me last night. He struggled big time.
Grant Ward playing centre midfield for Bristol Rovers and Colin.
Yeah, our hat-trick debut,
man. Against Barnsley back in the day.
Yeah.
He started on fire, didn't he, when he came to town? I think he got, what did he get, 4 or 5 goals in his first about 7 or 8 games?
What was the score of that game? Was it 4-2?
I think it was 4-2, opening game of the season. I missed that game. I was in France. I was driving.
And also, not forgetting, he came on as a substitute.
Yeah.
At half-time.
2-1 Man City, by the way, Colin.
Sorry?
2-1 Man City, Jack Grealish.
Well, there you go. You said there was Ketchum, didn't you?
Yeah. So,
by the way, Rich, before I forget, your mates Accrington lost again last night, son.
We've got them soon.
They're struggling.
Yeah, they are struggling down the bottom. Look, I feel a bit sorry for Humphreys because if you look at that bench last night, no centre midfielders on there. Let's talk about Luongo again. I've got a message from one of my mates who Sports Wednesday called Jake. And I know, like, Mike D refers to Norwood, he had biscuit legs. He said that Luongo's got a biscuit body.
Can you remember what I called his middle name yesterday?
Well, I've got a name for him.
Twix.
He calls him the Twix. Colin calls him the Twix. I'm going to call him Massimo Adiemi. He played a grand total of 5 games for Town.
Yeah.
And he was always just coming back on the grass, but we never really see him.
Not Massimo Fish.
Well, Mark Fish probably one of the worst 45 minutes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Luongo, surely they knew, Colin, when they were signing him, it was a risk. You got Don Ball injured. You might see them 2 before the end of the season, right? But you knew it was a risk signing Luongo when he's played no football this season. He's came in, he's played 15, 20 minutes off the bench against Burnley. Massimo Le Pen, the fisherman. I've got a new nickname for Mike the fisherman.
What's that?
Sam Smith, you know, the singer.
Yeah. Oh, he had that funny suit on.
Holbrook sent it to me. Fisher them. Bit naughty that. Get back to Luongo.
Oh, Rich, talking about Sam Smith, did you see that suit he had on at that event?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
At the Brits.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I couldn't see you in one of them.
I
can see Alex Griffin in one of them, doing one of his when he does the show. He should get that on the wheel. We'll have to have a word with Alex the next time we see him.
I didn't see him last night, Rich, by the way.
Alex was there. He was there at the game.
Yeah, I know he was there, yeah.
But yeah, getting back to Luongo, it was always a risk signing him, playing no football. And that's the way it's panned out so far. We've seen 20 minutes of him and we're on the middle of February. And this is a position now that we are really struggling in the middle of the pitch, Colin. You've got Morsy, who's not playing that well. You've got Humphreys, who's just making his way in the game, and nothing else.
Well, the other week when we were sitting along there with a cobbled massive, yeah?
Yeah.
Luongo comes on, and we're thinking, bloody hell, we're liking this.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, you know. But then we don't see him again. I don't know. You couldn't write it, Rich. Quite honestly, you couldn't write it, mate.
I don't know what the injury is. I don't know. You know, it's just baffling, and I will keep going on about Jack Taylor till the cows come home. Right? There's a player there that Town wanted. We bid 4 times from him. That's the rumour.
And apparently he wanted to come big time.
Yeah, he wanted to come, and I think Look, I think we've got that one wrong. We can chat about this in the summer, the signings we should have made, some of the signings we made that haven't worked out. Look, nothing's going to work out every signing. We know that. But let's move on to Wes Burns, Colin. Obviously, Mel and David were there last night. Wes didn't have the greatest game, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And he got taken off. I'll give him a 5.
Like I said earlier, Rich, I felt sorry for him. Come down and watch the boy, and that. I mean, I can only imagine what that must be like. Seeing your boy playing pro football, you come down to watch him, and let's be honest about it. I mean, I love Wes to bits, like we all do, but he did have a disappointing game yesterday. He looked ultra disappointed when he walked
out. Touch on Dominic Dean's point. He says about no point in mentioning players we don't have, which is a fair point. We are in the playoffs. Form goes out the window, luckily. Well, form doesn't go out the window for me in the playoffs. If we have to go the playoff route, we need to be in some form when we get into them, Colin.
Absolutely. I said that to Randy today. I mean, out of these last 15 games, if we've got to still say if, you never know what happens in life. If we go through the playoff route, like I said today, I want to see minimum, or need it anyway, and make the playoffs. I want to see a minimum. I'd like to see a minimum of at least 10 wins out of them 15 games. You got to get that momentum going into them playoffs, because I'll tell you, you do need that. I mean, that's like the year we won the playoffs in 2000. We went into those playoffs we finished third, didn't we? We went into those playoffs in pretty good form, and well, you've got to. You've got to go into those playoffs. That's an absolute given. You've got to go into those playoffs in form. Without no show. And I'll tell you what, David Burns called this weeks ago. Weeks ago, he said, "There's one team I'm not scared of, but probably maybe wouldn't want to face would be Wickham." And I'll tell you, they're coming. They're coming.
They still got to play, Colin. We've still got to play them. I see Alfie Morsy's had to retire, the centre half. He was the one who was giving the town fans a little bit of stick.
Yeah.
And he's had to retire. That was his last game last night. He's had to retire for a knee injury. Look, Wickham, for me, they are your typical League One team. They know what to do in this division. Look, we've seen them play, Colin. You wouldn't want to have a season ticket to go and watch them. They're not pretty, but they're very effective. And that's what sometimes I think that we don't have. We don't have that streetwise. We're not able to change it up. We play one way. That's how we're going to play. And everyone likes good football. But look, we'll have to see what happens over the remaining 15. Right, Wes Burns, I've given him a 5. What about you?
Yeah, same, yeah. I can't go higher than that. Love the old boy. I'll tell you what I'd say about Wes. Go on, Wes. If you listen to this tonight, go and prove us on Saturday, if you're selected, go on that pitch against Forest Green and rip them apart, mate. Rip them apart. Because you're capable. He's capable of doing it. We all know that. He's capable of doing it. And go out there and get yourself a goal and have a good game, boy. Like the rest of them. All have good games. Go in and show a bit. I'm not saying that I'm sure no player goes on a pitch. I know we all say it. But, just think just a teeny weeny bit about like what people have suggested. I mean, I do it because I love it, and so do you, Rich. There's a lot of people like there was people behind me last night, Rich. I got 2 lovely young children, one young blonde-haired girl. She was actually on Alex Griffin. She was about 7 or 8, standing on a seat she couldn't see, and her brother was about 5, standing on a seat to see, and her dad's there. I mean, look, boys, all of you, families like that, like Rich knows, families like that cost a lot of money. Yeah. I know they're on half term. He's probably done it. you know, to give them a lovely day out. But it
down there
costs money.
What was the hotel, Colin? Look, I know we didn't have to stay, but it's a night game. I'm glad I did stay because obviously the roadworks are coming back. The M4 was closed, M25 was cut. It was horrendous. So I think my hotel was just over £100.
Yeah.
Fuel to get down there, tickets, something to eat. I probably spent the best part of a couple £100 easy.
Yeah,
you know,
I've done the same.
My kids love it. Look, they've got the bug now. They're invested. You know, and I can see the disappointment on their faces because they know that they haven't seen a lot since they've obviously supported Town. They see the playoff season under McCarthy, but finally we're thinking that we were actually going somewhere, and then all of a sudden it's sort of the wheels are well and truly off the tractor, Colin, at the minute, and we need to put them back on starting on Saturday. You know, Forest Green, it's a kind game. You still have to go out there and you still have to get the job done. What was it, 2-1 when we went there earlier in the season? Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, at times, Rich, I was a bit of a struggler now. Excuse me, in the searing heat.
It's warm, wasn't it, down there?
Oh my God! Wonder some people didn't get sunstroke down there.
But we've got to be professional on Saturday. Don't have that attitude. I think sometimes we think that we're just going to turn up and we're going to win these games. Don't turn up with that attitude on Saturday. We've got to do the basics correctly.
Oh, by the way, Rich, another ground ticked off for you last night, by the way.
Yeah, on to 86 and 92. Cheltenham coming up at Easter. That'll take me to 87. Right. Your favourite player, your man, I thought he struggled last night. Sonny Luco.
Couldn't agree with Martin more. I mean, I know he sent me a couple of, them lines, with the old hook. But he did. I didn't take the bait. Nah, probably the worst game I've seen him having the Town shirt.
Did you think?
Five at very best.
He played too deep.
Yeah, 5 at best, Rich. 5 at best.
I think they all played too deep. Harness, which we'll come on to him in a minute, Marcus Harness. They all played too deep. I think as a team, we could have played about 10, 15 yards further up the pitch.
Yeah.
They didn't really trouble us. I know Collins for them looked a bit lively a couple of times, but I think we have to.
We've got to be, Rich, we've got to be a little bit more aggressive, I think, what I mean by that, a bit more aggressive in our outlook towards winning the game.
I was going to say that. Don't be afraid to lose. Don't be afraid to lose the game.
No, that's right. And I think away from home, especially, excuse me, I think away from home, Rich, especially, has been our bugbear, really. I think
one win. That's 1 win in 8 since Charlton now. I'm going to give Aluko a 4, and I'm also going to give Marcus Harness a 4.
I thought he was. Yeah.
What's happened to Harness? Because obviously early in the season, Colin, he impressed, didn't he, when he came in?
He did. He's not in the side, obviously. He's not in the side to tackle and, put a long tackle.
That's for sure. He ain't much of a tackle,
I'll tell you, there's one word for Marcus for me. I mean, I support everybody in a blue shirt like we all do. But I'll tell you what, one word sums him up. It's frustrating, Rich.
Yeah, because I think he's obviously, if you look at his numbers when he was at Pompey, I think over 3 seasons, Colin, he got 30-plus goals. So he can obviously play at this level.
Yeah.
I think Portsmouth fan says he is a frustrating player. He is inconsistent. That's probably why he hasn't gone higher. He's played all his football at a lower level.
Yeah, see, when these I know sometimes fans are very fickle and the old sour grapes come out sometimes when players leave clubs. But there's other fans like ourselves, like when maybe some players leave our club. But like when we talk to somebody on another podcast, we talk it quite honestly and we talk the truth. And there's a lot of fans like from Pompey who'll do exactly the same. And you've got to believe them sometimes. And they did say that to you. They said it to Martin. They said it to Matt and whatever when you've done little pods or whatever. And sometimes, you think, is he having us on or what? but not always. Not always.
Carl Brooks, Colin says this too. We spoke to Carl, didn't we, last night?
Yeah.
About 20 to 12, we rung him. Harness hasn't been the same player since you get him on the back of your away shirt, Rich. So, look, I'll take the blame then. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. Look, I thought he was poor. I'll give him a 4. You know, I would probably have made a change at half time with probably taking him off and putting Broadhead on. Yeah,
I mean, I've got to say, putting names on the back of shirts don't change the player. You remember when Rooster scored the winning goal at Wembley, Rich?
Yeah.
I said to my boys before that game, leading up to the game, I said, remember the white and black? You know the one I've got, don't you?
Yeah.
The one with the collars. And I said, the one with the Premier Leagues on the shoes. I said to me boys, before leading up to the game, whoever, even if it had been Richard Wright, whoever scores the goal, the winning goal for us, I will have on the back of my shirt. I don't care who it is.
If Richard Wright scored the winning goal, I think we'd have all got him on the shirts, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Anyway, it was Rooster, obviously, you know, but by having what I'm trying to say is by having Rooster on the back of my shirt, the next season of Premier League didn't make him a bad player, did it? It made him a bad player, probably. But yeah, it is what it is.
Hopefully, we might be getting someone on our shirt next season when we win at Wembley in this
well,
night.
There you go. Maybe I might have. Who can it be? It might finish up being Wolfenden. Well, you don't know.
Anyway, let's go on to Big Fred up top. Look, I thought the Dapo last night. I thought he done all right, Colin. When we actually get the ball into his feet around the box, he's strong. He's very strong. That's what we should be doing more. But we need to get the ball forward quicker.
Do you remember what I said last night about onwards and sidewards? I'll tell you what. That's what we're doing at the moment. We're very pedestrian.
Shout out £5 donation from Stevie Watson. Stand by the team. They need you. You still could have a very special season, even if it's in the playoffs. Stevie, Colin, is a Plymouth fan. He's happy, isn't he?
Just a bit.
Cheers for that. Mine appreciate that, mate. Thanks very much for that.
Yeah.
Cole says he was so isolated last night, and he's Broadhead and Chaplin up there with him. Like the Morecambe game. We need to play. If you're playing the system we play, you have to get players around that central striker, Colin. You can't leave him isolated.
You can't.
What I'm saying about Harness and Aluko, you look where they were picking the ball up. It was way too deep. In my opinion, too deep. For them to do any real damage, you need to be further forward and helping whoever the striker is.
The thing is, if you're playing as a lone striker, you're absolutely right. You've got to have link-ups. And if those link-ups are too deep, you're going to struggle, you know. But I agree with you, Rich. I think if I had to give a man of the match, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to give one last night because I didn't really overly think anybody deserved. But if I had to give a man of the match for anybody who actually participated in that game at Town last night, I would have probably given it to Ladapo. He did work hard.
It's a frustrating thing. We take him off and you bring Hurst on, you bring Chaplin on, who didn't really get in the game. You bring the interesting one for me is talking about keeping players happy. Kyle Edwards was nowhere to be seen on Saturday, and then he's all of a sudden he's back on the bench last night, and he comes on for Wes Burns, where Kieran had praised Caden Jackson for his 3 games in the FA Cup when he played against better players as well, Colin, you know. And he give them nightmares, them fullbacks with his pace. Now, Saturday didn't come on. He was warming up in front of us literally all the second half last night, and he still didn't get on. And I thought, that's a bit of a strange one to me. When Edwards wasn't even on the bench on Saturday, and then he comes on your first sub last night, Caden doesn't even get a kick.
With Jackson, you've got to say it as you see it. I know he's got a lot of people who get on his back, but I'll tell you what, that especially those 2 games he had against Burnley. He had 2 very, very good games against them. And, you know, people have got to accept the fact, you know, not just because you don't overly like a player, don't like just put him on the back burner because whatever. You've got to praise when those players like Jackson, when they have decent games, you've got to praise him, you know. And I must admit, I was very surprised he didn't come on for Wes last night, to be fair. Because he's played well on that right, Rich, hasn't he?
Nathan Pearson says Jackson does something that others can't claim currently. He plays for the badge. That's
well, I'll tell you what, I did notice last night when the game was finished and the players come down, and I did notice him do that. Jackson went like that on the badge to the people in the seats. And look, I know people can turn around and say, well, anybody can do that. Yeah, I agree with that. But let me just finish this. But the thing is, the other 12, 13 weren't doing it. I noticed he did that last night. And you know, fans like that kind of thing. There's like a link between you and them when, like I say, you know, I know anybody can do it, but Jackson, I noticed he did do that last time. Praise to him. Because, you know, fans, when they've done a long journey, spend a lot of money and seen a game that wasn't overly good, and then somebody does that to back.
That's the understatement. It wasn't very good.
Well, I'm trying to be nice, Rich.
Well,
you know.
So look, the subs come on. They didn't really make a lot of difference. I thought Broadhead when he came on, Colin, he was probably he gets the ball and he's direct for me.
He did, and he nearly scored a couple of times, and also Harry Clark. I thought Harry Clark done well when he came on, Rich. Would I have brought him on at left back? No, I don't know. I don't know what that was all about, but he did all right, to be fair. Him and Broadhead, basically both down that left-hand side. But yeah, I'd be very, very surprised if both them lads and Chaplin, Clark, Broadhead, Chaplin.
You make there'll be at least 3 or 4 changes on Saturday. I'm pretty sure. I'd be surprised if there wasn't.
See how things are going, Rich. Wouldn't you say? I know what you're going to say, Rich, probably, but wouldn't you say? And again, I would agree when people say this is what we don't want to keep happening. That wouldn't surprise me if her starts Saturday. It wouldn't surprise me, Rich. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, right.
And I agree with you.
So, a new thing we're doing on here. I'm doing it on Twitter after every game, Colin.
Right.
What is your 3-word takeaway from the game? So I'll just go through a few on Twitter. I'll just do some random ones. Right. Dean Mitchell, start, best team. Reece Curtis, sideways, backwards, crap. Ben Prickett, too slow attacking. Dave Jones, so very predictable. Mark Waitley, possession without penetration. Andrew Rogers, long way home. Adam C, stop passing sideways. I'll go through a few more in a minute. Everyone in the chat, what is your 3-word takeaway from last night's game? Mine is McKenna's bingo balls. Mecca we're going to be sponsored apparently by, but they're going to change it. You know the Mecca bingo? You're going to have McKenna bingo on the shirt. What's yours, Colin?
I hope I'm wrong. The playoffs.
Right, let's have a few in the chat. Carl Brooks.
I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I think it's nailed on. Matt Stanov's 3 words are musical statues champions. Because he said we don't compete the second ball. Carl Brooks, passive, predictable, poor, the 3 Ps. Nick Will, play with tempo. Simon Harris, no end products. Power gain, should do better. Lee Bayliss, keep on believing. Dominic Dean, my 3 words: see barn door. James Warren Elmer, I hate this saying. We go again. Martin hates that as well. Mike D, bloody tinkering. Christopher Potter, too many changes. Craig at Portsmouth, slow, predictable, frustrating. Ben Moore, stats are shit. 559 passes last night, Colin, by the way.
Yeah, but nothing in the onion bag.
Yeah, Lee Brown, not good enough. Dino, League One again. Chris Boyd, we're in free fall. Nathan Pearson, here comes Stevenage. Carl Brooks again. Carl will all away, anyone.
Oh, Rich, I've got another 3-worder. Empty onion bag.
Empty onion bag, yeah. Do you think some of these games, Emerson, Heart and Desire, do you think sometimes you stand there watching that game or sitting, Colin, we could still be there again this time tonight and we probably still wouldn't have scored? Phil Blundell, Accrington Stanley again.
I totally agree. I mean, why don't we shoot more often, Rich? Look at Saturday. I know there was the free kicks, but we had a dig, and both of them finished up in the back of the net. And I know, and it really,
you're never going to win it.
It gets on Andy's nerves, and I get that. You know, he keeps going, shoot for God's sake. We always seem to do that one extra pass, Rich, on the edge of the box, don't we?
I thought last night, it was a little bit. I would never accuse anyone of not trying because I don't think they don't try, but I think it was lethargic. It was slow. It was predictable. There's so many words that you could use to describe that performance, and none of them are really positive. You know, coming away from that game, it was just so that you think, here we go again. You know, a bit of a lack of desire, I'd say, Colin, sometimes. We're too nice. We're too nice, and I said it on Sunday. We reflect the manager. McKenna's, we've met Kieran a couple of times, and he's a really nice guy. But I just think it's... Oh, dear. Hang on. Right. Matt Stannard said, I've got to read Chris Boyd's comment. Here we go, Colin. The lack of penetration on Valentine's Day was a shocker.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's a class one. I love that.
I'll tell you what, I bet looking at something.
Dominic says in the chat, what impact has Pert had this season, really? What do you think of that?
Sorry? Pert.
Martin Pert.
Yeah, I'm not overly sure.
We've spent a lot of money on the team. We've got a lot of backroom staff. Haven't we? We've got a lot, Colin.
Yeah.
A lot more than a lot of other teams in this league.
Whatever our wage bill is, God knows. You know. This must be astronomical. That's all I can say. You know. And it makes you wonder, Rich, if we don't make the championship. And my God, I'm praying that we do. But if we don't, it makes you wonder what, you know, will they probably will. They probably will. But will all the staff, the size of the squad, you know?
Well, Liam says in the chat here, Kieran McKenna trying to be the player's mate rather than a manager. What do you make of that, Colin?
Well, that's really putting another twist on. If I had to answer that question, which I will do, it puts another twist on keeping players happy. You know? Because we've all, Rich, let me just say, we've all played, like including me, especially on a Sunday, not so much like, you know, like myself, you know, like when it's played, you know, decent Saturday football, but on a Sunday, I was with my mates. And it's like, I'm not going to mention names, that wouldn't be fair, but it's like one of my mates who used to, or a couple of my mates used to pick a team, you know, like on a Friday night, you know, before we played darts or something, you know. It's like somebody saying, oh, yeah, you know, you're here, we're going to, oh, yeah, so-and-so's got to play, yeah, so-and-so's got to say, because you know, he's not quite so good, but he's one of the selection committee's mates. And you know damn well he'll be in, although he's, you know, the left back who ain't too sharp kind of thing. But he don't deserve to be. And that makes you wonder, you know, it's the keeping people happy thing, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to think I'm wrong.
I think we're a professional outfit, and I'd be a bit surprised if it was like that, Colin, really. You know?
I'm only liking to resent. Obviously, no, it's not going to be like that. But what I'm saying is, you know, God's sake, I mean, if that was profound to be true, that you're picking an 11 at Bristol Rovers for a prime example to keep, I don't know.
Craig from Portsmouth says here, Colin, I agree. Once we signed Clark, I didn't think I'd see Donatian start another league game.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Time for tough choices from McKenna.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't often do this, Rich, and I don't really overly want to do it. But I agree with what Craig just said. Look, what I want to see from now to the end of the season is Kieran, and I love Kieran. I think he's a great bloke. Like we said, we see him at Bracknell. Great bloke. Lovely, lovely person. I could not underline that more. But what I want to see Kieran do, and Martin Pert, you know, obviously they talk, and what I want to see them two do for the rest of the season is pick the bloody best side every week. I don't care whether it's FGR at home. I don't care whether it's Bolton away, which is a very, very hard game, probably our hardest game left in the season. Of course, you'll pick your best side at Bolton. That's your damn hardest game left in the season. But I want to see the same team that's going to play at Bolton, Rich, play on Saturday. Bar injuries and suspensions. That is what I want to see.
It's come to the time now where you've got to pick your
best. We can't mess about, Rich.
No.
Rich, we can't mess about anymore. There's 15 games to go. I'll tell you what, I'll put you on the spot. 15 games to go, Rich. To reach at least 6, how many games do we have to win out of 15? I reckon we've got to win.
How many points are we on now?
Oh, do you know what? I didn't even buy a paper today, to be honest.
Times must be bad if Colin Plum has not bought the East Anglia. I mean, that is breaking news. So, right, let's have a look. So, Plymouth 67, Sheffield Wednesday 65, Bolton 59, Town on 57, 31 games. Then you've got Derby 54, 5th, Barnsley 53, Wickham 50. Shrewsbury, Colin. I mean, you got to give them credit. Steve Cottrell, they've won 6 out of the last 7.
Brilliant.
So they've got an outside chance, but you'd say 57. We've got to get to, what's the average? Probably about 76 points, 77 points to get in the playoffs. I'd say if you win another 8 games. If we win 8 games out of 15, that takes us to 81 points. That'll get you.
Yeah.
Well, we need to be in. We need to be playing that second leg. Look, I know maybe we are probably ruling out top 2 now. I think you have to be realistic, Colin. Now I know you're the most positive person that I know, but look, Graham Byrne 81 last year, I think, got you in the playoffs. So that them 8 wins will give you.
Rich, just let me stop for a second. We need to be at least 3rd or 4th, yeah?
Well, that's what I was going to say. You want to be playing that second leg at home.
Exactly. So to finish preferably 3rd, to finish 3rd, I think we need to win 10 games. To finish 3rd. I do.
Will says win our home games, draw away games equals 88. I think
there you go.
I think Nick Millsy said on Saturday on Suffolk that he was still going on 2 points a game to get to 92, and you'd need 11 wins, I think 5 draws and a couple of defeats in there. But the games are running out now, Colin. We've got 15 games to go. We're in the middle of February, and then them games will soon slip away now. So,
yeah.
And on Saturday, before we wrap up, we'll come to Forest Green Saturday. What's your team quickly, Colin, for Saturday?
I'm going to answer that as easy as I possibly can. The best team, and that would include Clark, Broadhead, Chaplin, and I don't care whether it's Ladarp or Hurst. I like them both equally in that role. I'd have Clark back in, I'd have Broadhead back in, I'd have Chaplin back in. You know, definitely those three. And if fit, I'd have Edmondson back in as well. Definitely.
For Burgess?
Yeah, 100%. And I don't like saying that, but yeah, I would.
It's this. Lee Bailey says it's up to us to do it. It's still in our hands to have a successful season. I know I've seen some chat on social media, the season's over. Even Matt Phillips is saying, "Oh, I don't want to go Saturday." Well, there's a shot, Colin. He'd probably be there. He said he'd probably be there. But to say the season's over with 15 games to go, there's still loads to play for. You know, there's still loads to play for. And Town are still more. I know people will say we're not in form in a minute. We are still more than capable of getting out this league. We are still more than capable. We cannot wave the white flag and say, "Oh, the season's over. We're going to be here next season." Because if we've got that attitude, we might as well not bother turning up for the next 15 games. And some people would say we ain't turned up for the bloody since October, which is a fair point. But we're more than capable, but we need to start having a settled team. Don't keep making so many substitutions and affecting the flow of the game, Colin, for the detriment, I think, sometimes.
I'll tell you what, I used when I used to run my Sunday League side, I used to do things in the dressing room. Against different sides. Do you know what I'd do if I was the Town, the back room stuff and that? I'd put a massive, great picture. I would on the dressing room door as they're coming in. I'd put it on the outside of the door so they'd see it as soon as they came into the door. I'd put a massive, great picture of Bobby Robson on it. Win for his 90th birthday. Win for him. Those kind of things they do get people going, Rich. Put a bloody great picture of Bobby Robson on the door. Would have been his 90th birthday.
You know what I'll put on the door?
What's that, mate?
Picture of your book.
Well, that's a lovely thought, Rich. Thank you very much.
So what is your prediction for Saturday, and what is people in the chat's prediction? Forest Green at home, not won since the 10th of December. Obviously, big dunks in the dugout now, Colin.
Yeah, watch out for Big Dunk. Good, especially what he done to that bloke when he burgled him. Oh my God, wouldn't by the end of him.
Imagine that you burgle someone's house and you've burgled Duncan Ferguson's house, and he's at home. I mean, nonsense.
I'll tell you what. The only thing what could be nearly as bad as that is if he used to rob the Cray's house.
What are you going for Saturday? What are you going for?
I'm going 3-0 Town.
Yeah, I'll go 2-0 win. What we got? Dino 1-1, James Hobson 3-0, big reaction. John B 1-1, Josh Russell 4-0, Ben Moore 3-1. Stevie Watson, the Plymouth fan, no chance for Forest Green. He's put 4-0 Town. Mike D's gone for a scrappy 1-0 win. Andy White 5-0, Craig at Portsmouth 4-0, Lee 4-0, Emerson 1-0. Anyway, I think that's about it. Colin, you got anything else to add before we close?
You can buy me a pint in the van zone on Saturday because that's my birthday as well.
Colin's birthday Saturday, so if anyone's coming to the game,
thank you, mate.
Happy birthday. Make his day by buying the book. Get on Amazon. Diary of a Session, £15. And thanks for everyone who's tuned in. The chat has been absolutely brilliant tonight. Massive thank you for Colin. Massive shout for you for stepping in at the last minute.
That's all right, mate. Rich,